long, long ago, in a faraway land, there lived a clever young girl called Scheherazade.
She lived with her little sister, who was called Dinazad.
And her father, who was the vizier, the chief advisor to the king. The vizier loved both his daughters very much.
Dinazad was kind, loyal, and true as any girl her age.
But Scheherazade was courageous, shrewd, and bright, well beyond her years. And there was nothing she liked better than to tell stories.
Stories of enchanted caves, of flesh-eating ghouls, of talking birds, and slaying men!
Night after night, she would keep her little sister awake by filling her head with these stories.
When suddenly, the huge bird dropped him in the valley of slimy, tree-sized snakes!
Children, children, children! It's getting late, children. It's time to go to bed.
Please, Father, please let Scheherazade finish. We're near the end now.
Very well. The end of the story, then bed.
However many times she told these stories, she never forgot a word, for Scheherazade was gifted with a perfect memory.
Now, the king of the land was called Shahari.
And he lived with a beautiful wife that he loved, as he loved his own eyes.
Shahari was a great leader, strong, big-hearted, and courageous. By his enemies he was feared, but by his people he was loved.
And the halls of his palace would ring with his laughter.
One day, Shahari was overlooking the palace window. A secret door was opened.
Masood! Masood! Masood!
I trusted my wife as I trusted the ground beneath my feet. No man is safe in this world. Curse the world, curse life, and curse all women.
Now the king is strengthened by his vizier, as the body is by the back.
Take that wife and mine and put her to death.
The vizier did this, for if he disobeyed the king's will, he would be killed himself.
The gates of the king's heart were locked like a prison.
And the halls of his palace were as silent as a tomb.
The king swore that from now on he would marry for one night only. And the next morning,
Ordered the vizier to have the executioner cut off his wife's head.
he continued to do so for 1,000 nights.
Until 1,000 young girls perished. And every morning, the king would say to himself,
There's not a single good woman anywhere on the face of this earth.
By now, Scheherazade had grown up into a wise, refined, and beautiful young woman.
Dinazad had grown up too.
one day, the vizier returned home from the palace, with his head weighed down with worry.
Why are you looking so lost, father?
It seems the sun has set on our city forever. Mothers and daughters are fleeing in fear. in their houses. Today I passed by the mosque. I saw hundreds of shoes lined up outside. Not one pair was a woman.
Father, I have a favor to ask, and I hope that you will grant me it.
I will not refuse, if it is just and honorable.
I have a plan to save the daughters of the city.
Your aim, my daughter, is admirable. The King Shire's sickness is beyond help. How could you hope to cure it?
I want you to marry me to the king. I mean it, Father. I want you to marry me to him, today.
Have you lost your mind, daughter? You know what happens in the
I know that, Father. I'm not afraid.
When the king orders me to send you to the executioner, I must obey. I, your father, would have your blood on my hands.
Father, please. You must trust me. Marry me to the king.
I forbid you ever to mention this again.
If you don't take me, then I shall go myself. I will tell the king that I asked you to marry me to him, and that you refused, that you begrudged him your daughter, and disobeyed his will.
Don't do this.
I'm sorry, Father. I must.
May Allah not deprive me of you.
Dinazad, listen carefully to what I have to tell you. When I go to the king, I will send for you to stay with me in the bridal chamber, and an hour before daybreak, ask me to tell you a story.
Sister, I will do all I can to help you.
You are beautiful. Why are you crying?
I have a sister. I would like for her to stay with me here tonight, so that I might say goodbye and enjoy her company one last time.
The king agreed, and Dinazad was sent for.
You came with all possible speed. And an hour before dawn. Sister, if you are not too sleepy, please tell me one of your strange and wonderful stories, for I don't know what will happen to you tomorrow.
May I have permission to tell a story, my lord?
You may.
Very well. Listen. Long, long ago, in a city in Persia, there lived two brothers. One called Qasim, and the other Ali Baba. When he died, their father left them each an equal share of his tiny fortune. But luck had not been half as fair. Qasim married a rich widow with a shop bursting with fine goods. He soon became a wealthy man of ease. Ali Baba, on the other hand, married a woman as dirt poor as he was.
One day, when Ali Baba was in the forest, he saw in the distance a vast cloud of dust. He looked closer and saw it was a band of horsemen riding towards him at great speed. He was suspicious. He climbed a tall, close-leaf tree where he could hide without being seen.
Dismount!
Open! Sesame!
Ali Baba was astonished to find a bright, airy cavern, carved out of the rock, like the holy dome of a mosque. Inside was a landscape of limitless riches, rivers of rich silks, brocades, and gold. He quickly gathered as much gold as he could carry.
Clue! Sesame! Wife? Oh, wife, look what I have for you!
Ali Baba, how could you? We may be poor, but there's no need to steal.
Wife, calm down and keep quiet. Wait till you hear what just happened.
Ali Baba told his wife his adventure from beginning to end, and they agreed to keep the whole story a secret as the mystery of the pyramids.
We're rich! We're rich! 1, 2, 3!
Oh, don't be an idiot, wife. It'll take all week to count this lot. We need to hide the coin this minute. I'll dig a hole in the garden.
No, it's no good. I said we have to know precisely how much we've got. I'll borrow some scales from the neighbors. I'll weigh the gold, and you dig the hole.
Okay, but remember, be on your guard.
Ali Baba's wife fluttered over to her brother-in-law Kazim's, who lived nearby. As he was not at home, she asked his wife if she may kindly borrow some scales for a short while.
Certainly. Wait here while I fetch them.
Now the sister-in-law knew how poor Ali Baba was, and was desperate to find out what they could be weighing. So she greased the inside of the pan on the scales.
I'm so sorry it took so long. I just couldn't find them anywhere.
Ali Baba's wife took the scales home, and they began to weigh the gold. Whilst Ali Baba buried it, she returned them.
Sister-in-law, I said I would only be a while. I'm as good as my word. Here they are. I am much obliged. Come on.
What is this? Ali Baba has enough gold to fill a pair of scales? Where did the penniless pauper get it from? Kassim, you think yourself rich, but you are mistaken. Ali Baba has far more money than you. He does not count his gold. He weighs it.
Instead of feeling happy for his brother's good fortune, Kazim was stricken with deadly jealousy. At sunrise the next morning, he marched straight over to his brother's house. Ali Baba, my wife had found this stuck to the scales report yesterday. I demand an explanation.
Ali Baba realized that thanks to his dozy wife, Kazim had discovered their secret. So rather than risking all of the thieves' gold, he struck a deal.
He agreed to tell Cassim where he found the treasure if Cassim would share it equally and promise never to tell a soul.
He followed the directions until he reached the cliff. Open sesame!
Cassim's eyes poured over the riches inside, which were far beyond his wildest dreams. Eventually, he snapped out of his trance and began to gather up as much gold as he could.
Open semolina! Open satsuma! Open shawarma!
The more Cassim searched for the word, the more it escaped him, until the flame of his greed went out and froze into icy dread. Toward midnight, the thieves returned to their cavern.
Desmond! Open sesame!
The thieves resolved to cut Cassim's body into pieces and display it inside the cavern. This would terrify anyone else who attempted to break in. Then they mounted their horses and set off once again.
My husband is not home and I'm worried something terrible has happened to him.
After begging Cassim's wife to stay calm for the sake of secrecy, Ali Baba set off to the cliff. When he reached the cliff, he saw no sign of his brother, but he did see a pool of blood.
which chilled him to the bone. Open sesame!
Despite Cassim's coldness towards him, Ali Baba knew that, by Allah's law, his brother must be given a proper burial.
Marjana? Oh, Marjana!
He was greeted by Marjana, a clever slave girl.
Marjana, my life depends on your secrecy. I have 2 bundles which contain your master's murdered body. Without raising any suspicion, you must bury him if he died of natural causes. Because if anyone suspected he was murdered, his killers would come and set me as his accomplice.
First thing the next morning, Marjana set off to visit a poor old seamstress on the market square called Fatima.
Because she was so penniless, she needed to work harder than anyone else, and her shop was always the first to open.
Good morning, Fatima. Fetch your needle and thread and come with me. But I must warn you, when we leave the town centre, I shall blindfold you.
What are you up to? I don't like the sound of this. I've got my reputation to think about.
Your good name is safe in my hands. Just come with me and fear nothing. She led her to Kasim's house, where the watered body lay. Fatima, I have brought you here to sew the pieces of this body together. When you finish, I shall give you another piece of gold.
After swearing Fatima to an oath of secrecy, Marjana blinded her again and returned her to the town centre.
she returned, they carried Qasim's body to the cemetery.
And so the secret of Qasim's gruesome murder lay locked away, as tight as the clasp on a miser's purse, and no one in the city suspected a thing. 3 days later, under the cloak of nightfall,
Ali Baba!
His wife,
And their son
Carried their few belongings
with their gold,
to Kazim's big house.
to live in wealth and splendor. Ali Baba gave Kazim's thriving shop to his son and promised that if he managed it wisely, he would receive the key to greater riches once he married.
let us leave Ali Baba to the fruits of his fortune and return to the 40 Thieves.
Open sesame!
When the captain of the 40 Thieves returned to the cavern, he was astonished to find Qasim's body and several amounts of gold missing.
Someone else knows the secret of the cave. We must act quickly or risk losing everything. I will go into town and I will listen out the talk of a murdered man. When I find him, I will find his house. And when I find his house, I will find his accomplice. And when I find his accomplice, we will put him to a slow and lingering death.
What an extraordinary story. I would love to hear the rest of it.
And I shall tell you tonight, if the king lets me live.
Your Majesty?
Doesn't His Majesty want to know if Ali Baba survives? Or whether the cunning slave girl Marjana outwits the captain of the 40 Thieves?
Vizier, come back tomorrow at the same time.
The day melted into night.
At an hour before dawn. Sister, if you are not too sleepy, please tell us the rest of your strange and wonderful story.
May I have permission to continue my story, my lord?
You may.
Very well. Listen. Early the next morning, dressed in his disguise, the captain of the 40 Thieves arrived at the town center. He walked
And walked until he came to the first shop he saw open.
It was the shabby shop of Fatima.
Old woman, you are up tremendously early. Is it possible that in your old age you have such good eyesight?
You do not know me. I may be as old as the crumbling earth, but I still have perfect eyes. Not long ago, in a place much darker than this, I stitched up the body of a dead man.
A dead man? What do you mean?
You want me to speak, but you shall know no more.
I merely ask one small favor. Show me to the dead man's house.
Even if I wanted to, I couldn't. I was blindfolded. I did not see a thing.
Come now! Let me blindfold you again. We'll see if we can retrace your steps to the great joy of the captain of the foot thieves. She led him to the spot where Marjana had bound her eyes.
She led him to Kazim's house, where Ali Baba now lived.
Ah, sir! My name is Hussein. I have traveled from a faraway place to be here. Is it possible I could spend the night under your roof?
Why, of course, welcome, welcome. Please take a seat. Harim, yalla!
So, the son of Ali Baba, was he happy?
So the story goes.
He marries a crafty, cunning woman, lives in a fine house. He's sure to be tricked and lied to and crushed by the scheming slave girl.
My lord, the story says otherwise.
The story's written by a liar! Executioner!
I know you have many other tales, sister. Perhaps you could tell us one tonight?
I do not have time for your sister's prattling. Executioner!
What a shame. For tonight, I was going to tell you the intriguing Oh!
Wait! One word before you go. What type of story is it?
One to put a smile on a king's face.
Laughter died after my first wife.
The king in this story finds laughter where he least expects it.
I have a mind to hear it. Tomorrow is here, at the same time.
The day melted into night.
At an hour before dawn. Sister, if you are not too sleepy, please tell us another strange and wonderful story.
May I have permission to tell another story, my lord?
You may.
Very well. Listen.
story do you have for me tonight?
A trifling tale, my lord.
One of many trifling tales you've already told me, my queen.
817, my lord.
817 times. That's a long time.
2 years, 2 months, 3 weeks, and 4 days.
Trick is working, my party. Well, go on. Begin. Speak. I'm listening. I demand you to tell me your story! Well, what does she say?
She says she dare not speak, in case she tries to trick you with her cunning woman's words.
Tell her I want to hear her story.
She says, are you sure?
Yes.
Really sure?
Yes. One more word and I'll bust your heads off.
Your Majesty,
Wife?
what will you do when the day comes, when the well of my stories runs dry?
That will never happen, will it?
As there are so many grains of sand in the desert, there are only so many stories in my head. They are bound to run out one day, and when that day comes, I must die, for you have given your word,
I have.
and a king's word is sacred.
It is.
Shall I start then?
What?
My story.
Yes.
Very well. Listen. Once there lived a tailor with a pretty and faithful wife.
One day, whilst taking a walk,
They bumped into a jolly little beggar.
Wait there. Watch this.
Is he dead?
bravo!
Jolly good!
Wait there. Watch this.
Jolly good!
Jolly good! Oh no! Is he dead? Jolly good! The tailor and his wife took so strongly to the little beggar. They invited him round for tea.
They also appeared from their interest of bread and fish. And they ate and drank till they finished everything.
Except for one very large fish.
Oh, I know. I bet you can't swallow that whole.
Wait there. Watch this.
Oh, he's gonna do it. He's doing it.
doing it.
Oh,
Bravo!
what a good little fellow.
Oh, dashing performance.
Amazing. Oh, amazing.
Jolly good.
Dashing performance. Oh, is he dead? He's dead. Well, don't just stand there and do something. I don't know. I know. Wrap him up and follow me.
The tent did, as he said.
Hurry up, otherwise we'll be hanged.
The tailor's wife knocked on the door of the doctor's house. A maid answered.
Madame, please give this to your master to come see my child who is dangerously ill. Right, leave the body and run.
There's the lights! The lights! George! Give me lights! George! I am finished! I've killed the patient I was supposed to cure!
the king's stewards! Quickly, go! You are useless! Let's go!
Just then, the king's steward was taking out the garbage. Whoa! A rat! A rat! Oh, wait. It's a person! Oh no! What have I done? I must conceal the body! Oh, I must not get hanged! I must not get hanged.
At that moment, a wealthy countess jumped in the evening walk. She stopped to admire the view. What's this? Thief! Thief! Oh, watchman, help me! What's the matter, madam? This man, he tried to rob me! But he's dead! You killed him! You're coming with me! No! The watchman took the countess to chief of police!
The chief of police went to the hangman, who set up a gallows and announced the execution.
This woman is not guilty. I am to blame for his death.
What did you say?
I am to blame for his death.
And the steward told the story of how she hit the little beggar with a garbage bag.
Hang me instead.
Release the countess and hang the steward.
This woman is innocent. The guilt lies at my door.
And the doctor told his story of how he tripped over the little beggar in the dark.
Hang me instead.
Release the steward and hang the doctor.
This man didn't kill a little beggar. No one killed him but me.
And so the tailor told everyone how he choked the little beggar with a fishbone and left the body at the doctor's house.
Hang me instead.
I've never heard the like. Release the doctor and hang the tailor. Any more interruptions, and I'll hang the lot of you! What is it?
The body is still breathing.
And word reached the king.
The king!
I have never heard of a more extraordinary story in my life.
And the king was so delighted, he awarded a royal decree to
The tailor.
The doctor.
The steward.
And the countess.
And from this moment on, the little beggar became the king's jester.
and made the king chuckle for the rest of his days.
This laughing king is a fool like I once was before I learned the truth about him. Laughter should be a stranger to a king's heart.
My lord, the executioner awaits your command.
I would love to hear one of your wonderful stories tonight.
And I shall tell you one, an extraordinary tale of adventure and survival against all odds, if the king spares my life.
Do you take me for a fool?
I know you to be the wisest of men, my lord.
Then why do you believe you can trick me?
Trick you, your majesty?
Trick me with your senseless stories!
If you feel you're being tricked, good king, I shall never breathe a word of a story again.
I shall be the one to decide that.
Yes, my lord.
I choose when I hear your story. When I don't choose, you shall die with the others.
As your majesty pleases. my lord. My next story shows the pain that follows when a king acts without thinking and shuts his ears to the truth.
Shahrazad, the king may lose his way, but he can find it again. The door to his heart is open.
So, what story will you have for us tonight, sister?
Tonight, I have planned to tell you a special story about another king that loses his way. It is called The Story Without an Ending. But I cannot seem to remember it. The day has come when the well of my stories has run dry. I fear I must go to the headsman.
The executioner cannot act without royal decree.
But haven't you sworn that when the day comes, that the well of my stories dries up, I must die? Vizier, didn't you hear the king say this?
Yes, that's his maxim.
Didn't you?
Yes.
Sister, you heard the king say this? Yes. Unless the king is not a man of his word, I must go to the executioner.
Catch him, you little imbecile! Vizier, go see it done! Wait, Vizier, wait! Shahrazad!
Your Majesty?
Shahrazad, if you want to continue this horrible act, I shall not stand in your way.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
However, I have one more request to ask you before you go.
Certainly. How may I be of help?
Try and remember the story you're about to tell.
I'll see what I can do. Very well now. Listen. Once there was a strong, brave king who loved to laugh. One day, he was betrayed by his wicked wife and lost all his love of women and his happiness. A lonely black night fell on his heart, and his soul became possessed by a dark demon.
There is not a single good woman anywhere on the face of this earth!
He would cry. Although he looked the same on the outside, on the inside, the good king of old was replaced by a cruel and merciless tyrant. Every night, he would marry a different woman, and the next morning, he would have her killed. This way, no one could betray him again, and he was safe. Many young women died. The people of the city grew angry and confused as they feared for their daughter's safety. Where has that big-hearted king disappeared to? They asked. Now the king's vizier had 2 daughters, and his eldest daughter was blessed with a magic power. Fate had decreed that she'd use this magic power to slay the dark demon in the king's soul and bring the daylight back to his world. When she saw him, she also knew she was fated to love him, with a love as true as the sky and as mysterious as the moon. This woman was called Shahrazad, and her magic was the magic of stories. Night after moonlit night, she poured the magic medicine of her stories into his ears, and little by little, dawn started to break in the king's heart, and a tiny flower laid its precious roots there. After a long, long time, the queen found out she was expecting the king's baby. After she had told him her stories for 1,001 nights, she tested the king to see if the flower in his heart had bloomed, and if he was ready to save the life of his wife and unborn child. This is where the story runs out, my lord.
Shahrazad, forgive me.
It is not me you must ask to forgive you, but your people. I forgave you long ago.
Vizier, publish to the city that the death sentence of Queen Shahrazad has been lifted,
Yes, my lord.
and that she expected the king's baby.
Yes, my lord.
And one more thing, Vizier,
Yes, my lord.
take the day off.
Thank you, my lord.
Now, let's celebrate the freedom of our gracious queen.
And the welcome return of the good king.
local and enjoy that show. But before we just have a few thank yous to say. So Lauren, can you please bring the paper, please? List.
Thank you, Asta.
Well, speaking of stage management, we would like to first thank you, Lauren and Asta, for their amazing work with our for our makeup, thank you for Aisha and Sarah. You guys made us look beautiful. What you already do is thank you very much. Sorry. Thank you very much.
Holloway for making this incredible bed.
Well, the scholar who designed our program, thank you very much for designing our awesome program. Thank you, Sir. And thank you for our filming crew, Mr. Benju. Thank you very much, Mr. Benju.
And some additional crew members that we have was Taryn and Farah for doing the front of house. Abdullah and Imran.
Thank you very much.
Extra special thanks to him because he stepped in 3 days before the show to be the executioner.
Although we put in all the hard work, we couldn't have done any of this without our three lovely directors.
Incredible directors.
Miss Reed, Miss Awan, and Miss Patel. Thank you for everyone for making this an unforgettable night and have a safe trip home. Thank you. Thank you.